So now we get to talk about the really fun stuff, bad habits. And the good news is we're really not going to spend a lot of time talking about bad habits, because what you focus on will grow. And I didn't create a PowerPoint because I want you to experience this. And anybody who wants notes afterwards, I'm happy to send you a PDF and of all of the different exercises and the steps. But I really want you to give this, I want you to learn this in your bodies today. All right? So what you focus on grows. And if you focus on your bad habit, you get more of your bad habit. Let me give you an example. I recently lost a considerable amount of weight, which I'm, not through a lot of work. And I strong-armed myself with most of the stuff, except for my very special relationship to popcorn, about 10 o'clock at night. And we're not talking modest little handfuls of popcorn. We're talking like popcorn, and then more popcorn, and then more popcorn. So let me show you what didn't work. To say, okay, no more. I am not doing that anymore. This is the last. Tomorrow I'm starting anew. And then tomorrow comes. Today I am not eating popcorn. I am not going to have that popcorn later tonight. I'm not even thinking about popcorn. I'm driving home, but I'm not going to talk about popcorn to myself because I've given up popcorn. Crunchy, salty, delicious popcorn. Oh, look, it's getting close to 10 o'clock. I'm sure glad I'm not having popcorn. And all day long, what have I been thinking about? Popcorn. And guess what I'm eating come 10 o'clock at night? Yeah. So saying no and fighting ourselves in terms of the habits just doesn't work. Now, we know what habits do. What do they do? Tell me some things that you know your habits do to you. What? They distract you? Yes. What else? Yes, they make you feel guilty and terrible about yourself. They distract you. They what? They stress you out. They take a lot of energy.
They stop you from doing your thing.
Yes. They actually stand between you and stepping fully into your full potential. And so how are we going to work with these habits? And I think there's a way that, and it's the same way that we work with a lot of other things at the studio with my clients. You start by owning where you're at and actually embodying it and acknowledging it and allowing it just for a moment. Because if you pretend that something's not going on and you keep trying to put something on top of it, usually what happens is whatever you're pushing down just keeps coming up, right? What we resist persists. So it's 3 steps to a bad habit, changing into a good habit. You start by acknowledging the habit. Then there's a special technique I'm going to show you in which you can move through the habit to create a new habit to take its place. Does that sound like a really delicious idea? And here's the truth about habits. The definition of a habit, we know what they do to us, but what are they? A habit is something you practice repeatedly until it becomes involuntary. That's all it is. These things that we're battling, and it's just something we've practiced for such a long time that it's just second nature to us. So I'm going to show you a little demonstration, and if you want to sit for just a minute, you can. You're going to be back up in a second, but I'm going to ask my associate, Mary Nell, to come up, and I'm going to show you how this works. So this is Mary Nell Spence. She is my associate producer on the film and my business partner. And I've asked her to demonstrate. So
I had to come up with a bad habit. I really didn't have any, so I had to make some up.
Yeah, she worked a long time to think of one.
Yeah.
So what is a bad habit that you would like to move through?
I've noticed that when I'm in a meeting or speaking with someone who I deem is really important, someone that I really respect and want to impress, instead of speaking my mind, saying what I really think, if I get upset, if I disagree, if I have an opinion, I'll just smile and nod and swallow it and then be really upset about it later that I didn't really show my genuine self and my true feelings and my thoughts. Show myself that.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because oftentimes we don't think of that as a habit. We think of eating bad stuff as a habit or smoking as a habit, but they're actual emotional habits that we have. And once we realize they're habits, we're actually free because we can begin to play with it. So here we are in a meeting, somebody's really important, we respect them, and we find that instead of stepping up to the plate with all that we are, we just sort of keep ourselves quiet, we push ourselves down, we're afraid to take a chance, we're afraid of making mistakes. I loved the things that I heard. Anybody identify with this at any point? Yes? All right, so here's what it's gonna look like. It's great to talk about it and it's great to think about it, but how do we change it? It's great to say, I want to be confident, but how do I suddenly step into my confidence so that I can walk with it and breathe with it and express myself and interact with it? So we're going to start with where you're at, and you have to be willing to get to know and embrace what that habit feels and looks like. So first, let's look at the behavior itself. Show me a little demonstration of what the behavior looks like.
Yes, I'm listening and I'm nodding, and wow, I really don't agree with that at all, and I would like to say something very different, but that might be inappropriate at this time, or it might upset this person, so I'm just gonna keep it to myself and act like I totally agree.
And that's the way the behavior goes. Now, can you find a way, and this is when we go below a thinking place, because thinking, we can think until we're blue in the face, and then all we've done is think. Can you go to the place where your feelings and the energy that's connected with that habit, what's going on the inside for you when you do that?
Just
And put it in your body, sound and physicality. Good. And then after you've done that bad habit, how do you feel? What's the energy? Yes. Good. Anybody identify with that experience? So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to allow it, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put your hands on your heart or wherever you feel the energy and just say, thank you, bad habit. Thank you. I don't get you, and I don't know why this comes up, but we've been together a really long time, and you've served some purpose, and I don't need to know what it is, but thank you, yes, you did it again, thank you.
Thank you, bad habit. You've really been with me a long time. Thanks for all you've done for me, whatever that was.
Right, because if we went, no, stop it, all you do is this, right? I used to have an acting teacher that would go, relax! And we'd all be going, it doesn't work to hate your habit. So you're just gonna go, okay, thank you, that's interesting. Now we're gonna move through it. So what you're gonna do is you're physically gonna take it off of your body. You're gonna imagine taking it off of your body, and you're gonna put it in front of you like it's this big Jell-O wall. This big wall of gelatin called my bad habit. And what you're going to do is you're going to poke your arms through that wall, and literally you're just going to step through it to the other side of the habit. So the habit is behind you for just a moment. And see what it feels like to be out in wide open space, not having to do the bad habit. And again, sound and physicality. Even if you do it a little bit, your body's going to start to go, oh, so what does it sound and feel like?
Oh, it's free.
Yeah. Now, that's terrific, but we need a new habit to take its place. We need to bring something in that's going to replace the So what might a new habit be that you could actually practice physically? What would you like to have happen in those meetings? What would you like to have happen with the important people instead of I'm smiling and nodding and not speaking?
I would like to be confident and truthful and genuine with just being who I am and trusting that and being empowered.
Good. Confident, genuine, authentic, truthful. All right. So that's a great idea, but how do you translate that into your body? I can't just go, be confident, go. Okay. So what I want you to do is find the gesture or it's like a dance, your own personal gesture that would start to embody what it felt like to be confident. So maybe confidence would look like pulling all of this like sense of power around you and standing in your power for a minute. And just do that for a second. Ha.
Ha.
Ha. Ha. Or really genuine and authentic, where you open yourself up and you give yourself away freely. Ha. Wow. To be able to just give myself away. Or to be really rooted and to stand.
Ha.
Or maybe all three. So put them all three together.
Ha. 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 Ha.
Good.
Feels good.
Now, you're not doing this during your meeting. They're like, something happened to the women of Mattel. They crossed over and they didn't come back. But I can promise you that if you can identify and physicalize the bad habit transforming into the new habit, you practice this at home. You clear your space at home. You suddenly find yourself shrinking and you go to the bathroom stall and you re-empower yourself, and then you come walking out and they're like, wow, that was a good trip to the bathroom. I don't know what happened there. And you start to practice it to the point where all you have to do is put one foot down and you remind yourself of what you really want to be doing. But you can't start at the end, you have to start at the beginning.